Now, LMPD Chief Paul Humphrey joining us to discuss some of the key issues involving his department. Thanks for being here, Chief.
Thanks for having me.
Let's jump right in. Several Metro Council members have taken to social media highlighting what they believe are issues with LMPD's chase policy. Right now, officers can only pursue suspects involved in violent felonies. This policy has changed several times over the years, largely in response to deadly crashes with suspects, bystanders, or even officers being hurt during chases or even killed in some instances. Right. Do you have any plans to take another look at that policy?
Well, I'm glad that everybody's focused on the problems that we have in our community. And when you look at it, we're talking about stolen cars and holding people accountable for it. And that's exactly what we want to be able to do, is we want to be able to take bad actors into custody and make sure that they're held accountable in the court system. And so I think one of the things that people need to understand about car chases is they are the most dangerous thing that a police officer can be involved in. And the last thing that I want to do is have to go to another child's funeral. And I would welcome any council member who is pushing for that to make sure that they attend any funerals that result from those. But when you think about it, all of the technology, everything that we've dedicated to dealing with apprehending criminals, that's what it's for. It's so that we can take people into custody in a safer way. The use of flock cameras, we bought a new helicopter, drones for surveillance. And so those are all tools that we can use. And I think people are getting this confusion of, if we don't chase people, we can't lock people up. Well, today we had a great example out in the 6th Division. 6th Division detectives, along with SWAT, served a search warrant, and they're charging people with syndicated crime for stealing cars. And when you talk about that, I think people need to understand that, look, I understand that I'm not going to chase this car right now, but we're putting our investigative resources into making sure we apprehend and bring to justice the people who are doing these so that it doesn't continue to happen.
So as it stands, you're comfortable with the chase policy, no plans to change it?
I'm very comfortable with the chase policy. When we talk about tactics, we talk about the priorities of life. And that means that we protect people over property, over evidence all day long. And so I'm never going to put an officer in a position where I think they're taking an unreasonable risk. And that can be the case, particularly in an urban environment when you're chasing people through the streets at extreme speeds.
And we're also hearing about an increase in people riding around on ATVs and dirt bikes, particularly in the south end of the city. Are your officers seeing problems with this? What can you tell us about what they're seeing out there on the streets?
Well, this again is another problem that we are trying to address via technology. So when you take the city's Drone as First Responder program, and as we get that up and running and get us more tools that we can deploy, and we get our drones in the cars and things like that, we'll be able to address those problems more effectively so that people feel comfortable where they live.
Your department just announced a pretty major drug bust involving your federal partners. So what can you tell us about that drug bust and what you were able to get off the streets?
Well, so yeah, the 2nd Division Impact Unit just did an outstanding job. They're always out there crushing it. And they served a search warrant in Park Hill. This is something they've been working on for an extremely long period of time. I think they got 3 guns. One of them was stolen, crack cocaine, some methamphetamine. And you're talking about investigations that take time, use technology, and these are ones that are going to put bad people, ill actors in jail for hopefully an extended period of time. And I want to make sure that the public knows that that's the type of work that we're out there doing every day.
You know, sometimes when we see these photos of drug busts and we see things that are very clearly drugs, in that photo that you guys were able to share, there was a bunch of small, bright colored packages. What are in those packages?
So that was a lot of ecstasy pills. And so both the ecstasy pills and the marijuana that they seized were both laced with methamphetamine as well. So you're talking about dangerous drugs that are out there, not just the danger of the drug itself, but the danger of the activity that goes along with drug sales. You're not having stolen guns for no reason. You're having it because you have an intent to either do harm to somebody or make sure somebody doesn't do harm to you because of the illicit business that you're involved in. And so that's what those officers are out there doing, is making sure that they're taking that off the street to keep us safer. And so we're going to continue to do that.
We just did a story yesterday about the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department now performing traffic stops. How is LMPD working with the Sheriff's Department? Does this help your department? Does it help when it comes to staffing, resources? How are you guys going to collaborate in this way?
I'm very happy the Sheriff's Office is starting to take a more proactive role in law enforcement, particularly on the traffic area. I think that's a place where people need to slow down and follow the law, and that's a resource-heavy activity for us. And so any additional assistance from them that we get that contributes to keeping people safer, we're going to take it. And I am glad to collaborate and work with them going forward.
And you guys currently have a recruit class with about 42 members. That is one of the largest classes in several years. So has that number held so far? And how do you feel like your recruitment efforts are working? Do you think that number is showing that those efforts are working?
Yeah, and I think our recruiting unit, as well as every officer that works for LMPD, is out there showing how great this job can be, and that is our biggest recruiting tool. And so, we've lost a couple out of that recruit class. That's normal, that people come in and they realize that this job isn't for them, and so that's fine. But in our next recruit class, we're constantly hiring. Go to lmpdjobs.com, apply, and our next recruit class will start after the new year. And so we're looking pretty good on the applications for that one as well, so pretty excited about it.
Since we last spoke with you, the Metro Council approved the reappointment of Inspector General Ed Harness for the second term. You've discussed that relationship with us and others in great detail. We know that you guys have both said you would like it to improve. So what needs to change first off to see that relationship move in a better direction?
Yeah, so just in general, I'm glad that we know that issue is settled, and we know who we're going to work with, and we know that we already have a baseline of communication, and we're working to improve that. We've actually had our communications director working with Ed Harness in order to try to build some channels of how we can communicate better between the two entities. And so I'm looking forward to see how we can improve that relationship to keep Louisville safe.
All right, Chief, we always appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in. We'll send it back to Studio A.